What do you enjoy the most about being a chess commentator?
I guess the thing I enjoy the most is that I don't actually have to have a regular job.
That's pretty nice.
It is pretty nice. Chess has been the most important thing about my life throughout since I learned the game, and being able to continue that on a daily basis is great.
And I feel many chess players like flexibility in their everyday life. Would you say that's the case for you as well?
I mean, it's certainly what I'm accustomed to. So I feel like when you've grown accustomed to a certain way, a style of life, then it's difficult going back to what other people consider normal, because this is what's normal to you.
You're doing commentary. How much does your calculation ability drop from your actual playing strength? My guess is 100 to 200 elo, but would be very interested to hear how he does.
It's such a difficult question to answer, right? Because the competitive stress versus the being on camera stress, they're two entirely different things. At the board, my calculation is so much better simply because I'm very, very focused, right? And also, you get a bit lazy watching the engine evals. Or I shouldn't say lazy, it's just that you get pushed in the right direction, which saves you a lot of calculating time. Which, if you're there to kind of make people understand what's going on at the board, I am of the opinion that you need that. You need that to have the engines guide you in the right direction, so that you understand what's going on, so that you can convey to the people what's going on. I think the question is just impossible to answer, but I would expect it to be way less than way more than 100, 200 points. But that's also because, like, when you're calculating a move at the board, you sit there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Whereas when you're doing commentary, whatever you thought of first is probably what you're going to have to run with. And so also just getting that thinking time down to 10 seconds is it's a challenge.
Yeah. So are you saying that sometimes you might drop your level all the way down to Odin's calculation
maybe
skills,
not that far.
Okay, yeah, no, that may be too much. No, but I guess now that I think about it, it's more about the time spent than the level of calculation, right? So my calculation level is probably the same, but having to kind of go for something in 10 seconds rather than having a couple of minutes to gather your thoughts, and also having done a lot of calculations previously to get to that point, that is probably the biggest difference, which, I mean, I'm sure you can equate that to some rating points, but...
And during your commentary on broadcast, Jon Ludvig, we often see the computer evaluation saying that there might only be one move to save the position for one of the players. And I guess your job then is to kind of tell us how likely is it that this player will be able to find the best continuation? And is that difficult for you?
I mean, it's guesswork, but it's educated guesswork. I think, in general, I try not to open my mouth before I know what I want to convey. So it's not like I'm doing calculations while I'm talking. If I'm talking, it's going to be because I already know what I want to say, what I want to convey, and how I'm going to do it. And I think that's an important part, that you're not just freestyling it, but you have some kind of idea where you want to go. And if you don't have that idea, then maybe you should let your co-commentators speak, which I don't do very often, to be fair. Being my co-commentator is not an easy job, but
I can't imagine.
But as a chess fan and a viewer of the broadcasts you're on, watching Magnus play, for example, and there is only one move in a position, and you highlight this very move, and when Magnus finally plays that move, you also get really excited, and that really, I can really feel it, back home in the sofa watching the broadcast. So that must also be a good feeling for you when Magnus or other players actually find that move.
The best feeling for me is when I say, okay, so the engines are evaluating this as better for white, but I think this is difficult for a human to deal with, and I would prefer black here, or I would not be surprised if black were to take over the initiative in the game. Those moments, they make me proper proud when I actually hit them and you see the game develop in that fashion, right? Because that's the context I can offer that the chess engines cannot, because I have the human way of thinking and the presence of mind to realize that this may not be as easy as the engine makes it out to be. Those are the moments I'm really proud of when doing commentary.
And let's talk a little bit about chess content and streaming, because you wrote on Twitter, chess streamer feels a bit generous for someone who hasn't streamed chess on their own channel in years, but the streamer commentary definition does get blurry at times. However, you have been quite active on Twitch, on other people's channels. For example, the Bote sisters, and you're doing a lot of commentary on Nakamura's channel. So tell us a little bit about that part of your chess life and how much you enjoy it.
Well, I mean, for me, being a chess commentator is great, but Norwegian television only covers so much. And what I've been very happy with the past, I would say maybe 3 years, is that I started getting gigs in English as well. And obviously, English is not my first language. I'm a slow speaker in Norwegian, but I'm even slower in English. But I think I have qualities that are good and that are not language dependent. And I've been lucky enough to get some chances to show that off at Hikaru's channel, at the Boteses, and now most recently doing the Olympiad for the Swedish women's team on a Kremling's channel.
Fantastic.
Nice.